WXII 12 News at 6 starts right now.
Really a warrior when we needed him most. Senator Thom Tillis.
A big endorsement right out of the gate. The issue at the center of this ad and how Senator Thom Tillis is spending for TV time.
A rape reported at Wake Forest University where a student says it happened.
Plus, big plans for the next decade. The sport High Point University's president is hoping to bring to campus.
It's an active night for sure in the tropics.
Yeah, our weather team is keeping a close eye on everything, and some of these things could get stronger.
In fact, one storm is dumping heavy rain over southeast Texas. Look at this. Tonight, millions of people are at risk for flash flooding. It's going to get worse in that area. Melda made landfall near Freeport as the tropical storm then weakened, but the rain will be around for a couple more days.
Of course, it is the middle of September, and Lainey, right on cue, there is a whole lot to watch in the tropics tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Of course, we've been keeping a very close eye on Umberto, which is still a Category 3 storm, and it is just northwest of Bermuda right now. Hurricane conditions on the island of Bermuda. 120-mile-per-hour winds with this one moving east-northeast at 20 miles an hour. It's expected to impact Bermuda easily through tomorrow morning and then quickly move away out into the North Atlantic. Also, you were just talking about Imelda, which is no longer a tropical system, but this area of low pressure still producing rain. You mentioned the 6 to 12 inches already. Galveston south and west. Now the rain kind of shifting a little bit into eastern Texas and parts of Louisiana. This is a slow moving weather system. We are not going to get any rain from Imelda. We will of course keep a close eye on what could become our next hurricane. Right now it is Tropical Storm Jerry. It is out over the Atlantic. 60-mile-per-hour winds moving west northwest at 15 miles an hour. The forecast has this one becoming a hurricane Thursday, approaching the Leeward Islands, just north of those islands as a Category 1 storm on Friday, and then by Saturday just north of Puerto Rico, potentially east of the Bahamas in that Sunday-Monday time frame. Of course, we're out to day 4 and 5 here, and a lot can change with the track in those out periods, so we'll keep a very close eye on all of these tropical systems.
Thank you so much, Lainey. Follow the latest tracks of all of the storms when you download the WXI 12 News mobile app. That's where you can find details and your local forecast on the weather page.
Commitment 2020 now. U.S. Senator Thom Tillis has launched his first television ad in what's likely to be the first of many in one of the most expensive campaigns in next year's election.
Absolutely. The U.S. Senate race is still more than 1 year away, but Tillis faces a primary challenger in just 6 months.
Bill O'Neill is in Greensboro now with tonight's commitment coverage.
The Tillis campaign has bought more than $2 million worth of TV time. The first ad serves as a reminder of who is Tillis's most important supporter.
He's been a warrior.
President Trump endorses Tillis.
Really a warrior when we needed him most. Senator Thom Tillis.
Clearly, this was an endorsement ad right out of the gate. What he's saying is, look, it is going to be unavoidable that I am going to be connected to the president.
And linked to the president's core policies such as immigration.
Democrats support deadly sanctuary cities which release violent criminal aliens onto our streets.
High Point University political scientist Martin Keifer says it's no surprise the Tillis campaign chose immigration for its first TV ad.
And I think that when people put together their re-election or election campaigns, they look at what issues they feel like they're strong on, and then also what will be resonant with the people who are going to be their re-election majority.
Tillis faces fellow Republican Garland Tucker in the primary. Tucker told WXII 12 News last May he offers voters a more conservative choice.
I think North Carolina Republicans and independents who will be voting in this primary want a more conservative voice.
Tillis has come under fire recently for not standing up to the president for taking millions of dollars away from military projects in North Carolina. Cal Cunningham, one of several Democrats running for Senate, issued a statement saying, quote, Senator Tillis has shown he is more focused on his own re-election than on finding a way to restore that funding.
A new survey by the left-leaning Public Policy Polling finds that Cal Cunningham has a slight lead over Thom Tillis in that Senate race. In Greensboro, I'm Bill O'Neill, WXII 12 News.
Thank you, Bill. Not just a Senate race that we're watching next year. There's the race for the White House as well. Senator Bernie Sanders, hoping for the Democratic nomination, is visiting North Carolina tomorrow. He's hoping to boost support in his bid for 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. The Democrat and U.S. Senator is speaking at UNC Chapel Hill tomorrow at 5:30. Then on Friday, he'll have a busy day in Greensboro, touring the International Civil Rights Center and Museum in the morning, then hosting a town hall at Bennett College at 1:30 in the afternoon. You do not need a ticket to go to that town hall, but space is first come, first serve. And the latest NBC News Wall Street Journal survey shows Bernie Sanders in third place in the polls right now, behind both former Vice President Joe Biden and current Senator Elizabeth Warren.
A Wake Forest University student reported being raped in a campus dorm by another student. According to an alert that was sent out by the school, the reported rape happened on Saturday in Angelou Residence Hall. The student filed that report yesterday. University police and Winston-Salem police are actively investigating this case. Tonight, members of the NAACP are saying not on our watch. They want national leadership to revoke the membership of a man accused of sexual harassment. Steve King explains what happened and what's next. Steve.
Well, Talitha, members of Elder Women of the North Carolina NAACP, a subset of the state NAACP conference, gathered at a church in Greensboro today where they said that an employee at headquarters in then Durham was harassed on at least 2 occasions by her supervisor and that national leadership did nothing about it. Group members say the sexual harassment happened in May of 2017 in Durham. They say the perpetrator resigned from his state NAACP job during an internal investigation into the alleged harassment, but he's still a member of the NAACP. Elder Women of the North Carolina NAACP members say an internal investigation found the alleged harassment did occur on 2 occasions, and the victim sent that report to the national leaders in September, but has never received a response. Now, group members say along with revoking that man's membership, NAACP national leaders need to put clear policies in place against sexual harassment in the workplace.
So it's not he said, she said. What we're saying is, here's the report, here's the documents, expel this person. But in the absence of any kind of sexual harassment policy, what we've been given is a turnaround, a runaround. And we're saying, not on our watch, not anymore, it's enough.
As the elder women of the North Carolina NAACP, we have a moral obligation to name our oppression when confronted and to fight like hell to end that oppression.
The group says they have a copy of the state NAACP internal investigation, but they cannot share it with us. We have also reached out to national and state NAACP leadership, but we have not heard back from them at this time. The elder women of the NAACP say they plan to take their fight to NAACP headquarters in Baltimore in the next few weeks, where they will demand action there. Steve King, WXII 12 News.
Steve, thank you. New testing is helping Winston-Salem police make a break in a nearly 26-year-old cold case. John Alford is now charged with rape and kidnapping. He was already being held by the Department of Corrections on unrelated charges. Detectives say he raped a woman back in November of 1993. This case was marked inactive just a few months later, but evidence was recently tested as part of the state's sexual assault kit testing initiative, and that helped make detectives make an arrest. Alford is expected to be in court on this rape charge sometime next week. A new autopsy reveals new details about a woman found stabbed to death in a Kernersville apartment. The medical examiner says Kayla Dubuque was stabbed multiple times in her head and neck. According to the autopsy, someone stuffed a sock in her mouth as well. On top of that, deputies found drugs in the apartment. Jerron Kubler is now charged with murder. Back in January of this year, he told officers in Washington, D.C. that he hired a prostitute and then killed her. Kubler is still behind bars without bond. He is expected in court in October.
The 19-year-old accused of plotting to shoot up High Point University is undergoing a mental evaluation. A judge ordered Paul Stieber to be involuntarily committed to Central Regional Hospital in Butner. He was transferred last week. Officers found a pistol and a shotgun in his dorm room on August 27th. Stieber is expected back in court next month.
A student hit by a car near North Carolina A&T State University remains in critical condition in the hospital tonight. Officers say a driver hit Honor Grogan near East Market and Laurel Streets yesterday. That's just south of A&T's campus. Detectives say she was walking outside of the crosswalk into oncoming traffic. Grogan is 21 years old and originally from Raleigh. Tonight, we also know the name of a woman who was hit and killed on a bicycle in High Point yesterday. Officers there say a driver struck Carmen Plasky as she rode out of a parking lot on South Main Street. Officers say the driver remained at the scene and will not face criminal charges.
Salem College and Academy names its 21st president. Dr. Sandra Duran is no stranger to the schools at all. In fact, she's been the interim president for 14 months. She says she'll serve an additional 2-year term as president. Well, High Point University's president is signing on to lead the school for at least another 10 years. He is setting a really big vision for the next decade. Nito Kubain says that the university will invest $1 billion in new buildings, services, and scholarships. Those plans include a school of nursing and new hospitality management and events planning programs. Now, leaders also plan to build a new library, an admissions center, and an ice hockey facility.
Tomorrow, you have the opportunity to meet the new superintendent of the Winston-Salem Forsyth County School District. It's hosting several community listening sessions, and Dr. Angela Hairston is scheduled to be there. Tomorrow's listening session is at the Old Richmond Elementary School at 6 in the evening.